Welcome back to Movie Moshow. Today we are going to review the drama-adventure film, The Shape of Water. If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We upload multiple times daily. Spoilers ahead. We enter a house that seems to be submerged as the movie starts. A voice identified as Giles, Richard Jenkins, tells us the tale of a princess, the man she loved, and the monster that sought to separate them. A silent woman named Elisa Esposito, Sally Hawkins, lives alone but frequently spends time with Giles, a middle-aged bachelor who lives next door in a modest apartment above a nearby movie theater. Together with her buddy Zelda Fuller, Octavia Spencer, she works as a janitor at the Occam Aerospace Research Center. A vessel bearing a priceless asset is delivered into the facility during their regular night shift. When Elisa approaches the ship, something from inside jostles against it. Giles brings Elisa to his favorite pie shop in the morning after work where he regularly buys key lime pie. Elisa doesn't like it, but Giles likes the pie and the discussions he has with the store's pie guy, Morgan Kelly, who Giles has a crush on despite being a closeted homosexual. Additionally, Giles is seen creating an advertisement for a Jell-O product for the business where he previously worked before getting fired, ostensibly for having a drinking issue. Colonel Richard Strickland, Michael Shannon, walks in and splashes some water after washing his hands before using the urinal while Elisa and Zelda are cleaning a restroom at work. A little while later, the ladies hear a scream emanating from another room. Strickland then appears, his left hand missing 2 fingers. The blood in the room where they are holding the new asset needs to be cleaned up by Elisa and Zelda. Strickland's fingers emerge from under a bookcase as Elisa pours water on the floor. They are placed in a bag by Elisa and delivered to the hospital with him. Elisa learns that the Doug Jones character known as the asset is a humanoid fish. She starts to sneak into the enclosure to spend time with it as she grows fascinated by it. Elisa feeds it boiled eggs over the course of the following few days while also teaching it sign language and playing recordings for it to listen to. When she hears someone enter, she hides. Strickland appears, coming to zap the asset with a cattle prod just to torment it in retaliation for his fingers. It soon becomes clear about Strickland's family life that he is married and has 2 young children, but he doesn't seem to pay any attention to them. When his wife requests that they have sex when their children are in school, he engages in rough sex with her and doesn't back off or stop when he starts to be too harsh. Robert Hofstadler, Michael Stuhlbarg, a new doctor at the clinic, is actually Dmitri, a Soviet spy. He meets with his superiors, who take him to a restaurant with a Russian theme to talk about the asset. Hofstadler informs the men that he thinks the animal is intelligent and capable of speech. Later, in an attempt to stop the Americans from furthering their scientific studies, the bosses give Hofstadler a poison to kill the monster. General Hoyt, Nick Searcy, Strickland's own haughty employer, wants to use the asset's corpse for space travel technologies. Elisa expresses concern to Giles that she wants to assist the asset as she grows concerned for its security. Giles disagrees, but Elisa believes it's a good idea because the creature and she are both individuals who are not like other people, and she fears that if she does nothing, the creature would perish. Giles returns to the pie shop once more. Before Giles reaches out to grasp his hand and the man responds furiously, he strikes up a cordial discussion with Pie Guy. The situation worsens when an African-American couple enters and are told they cannot seat at the counter by the homophobic and racial Pie Guy. Giles is also instructed to go and not come back. While this is going on, Strickland makes Elisa the center of attention by purposefully spilling a glass of water in his office and making her clean it up. He then abuses her, telling her that he is attracted to her silence and promising to make her squawk if she spends more time with him. Elisa adjourns. Giles, who is hurt and indignant at being rejected and forced to live in the closet in this homophobic society out of fear, decides to aid Elisa in locating the asset. He employs his abilities to decorate a van and create a phony ID for himself. By directing the cameras away from the enclosure, Elisa starts their strategy. While Giles is driving inside the facility, she hides the asset inside a laundry hamper and rolls it away. Zelda is about to go for work when she notices Elisa's scheme. Hofstadler is also getting ready to act at the same time, ostensibly to carry out his orders, but when he learns about Elisa's plot, he chooses to assist her. He uses a bomb device to cut out the electricity and injects a security guard. Rushing out the door, Strickland arrives too late. Elisa manages to bring the creature inside the van with the aid of Zelda and Hofstadler, and Giles then drives them away while totaling Strickland's brand new automobile. In order to keep the asset healthy, Elisa transports it to her flat and maintains it in the bathtub of her bathroom with the chemicals that Hofstadler gave her. The next evening when she arrives at work, Strickland questions her and Zelda but doesn't think they could have been at fault. Elisa gestures "fuck you" to Strickland as she departs, which Zelda interprets as "thank you." Giles nods off while attending to the asset. When the asset exits the bathtub, he or she spots one of Giles' cats. Before mercilessly killing the cat, the asset growls in response to the cat's hiss. When Giles notices this, the asset is alarmed. It exits while rubbing Giles' arm. Giles explains what occurred to Elisa when she gets back. When she goes outside to seek for it, she discovers that it is hidden beneath the apartments of the theater. She returns it upstairs and takes care of it. Giles's head and arm are both touched by the asset, which then begins to glow blue. Giles wakes up to see hair where there had previously been none. His arm's cut is also fully recovered. As their relationship deepens, Elisa and the asset engage in bestial sex in the restroom. In order for them to swim together, Elisa even floods the restroom. However, this creates a leak into the theater, and Giles is compelled by the owner to open the door and let the water out. She finally intends to release the asset into a canal that will be flooded with rains. Elisa becomes increasingly attached to the asset as time goes on, to the point that she can picture herself singing about her love for him in an old-fashioned musical number. General Hoyt comes to the facility in the meantime to reprimand Strickland for misplacing the asset and gives him 36 hours to locate it. Even though Hofstadler's own employers are aware he didn't kill the asset, they decide to spare him for now and promise to return him to Russia in 2 days. When Zelda arrives on the day Elisa intends to release the asset, she notices that its scales are coming off and that the chemicals from the facility are no longer within. That evening, they want to remove the asset. Strickland follows Hofstadler to the location of his regular meeting with his superiors. They repeatedly shoot Hofstadler, but Strickland arrives and kills them before they can put an end to him. He believes he is hiding the asset from other Soviet spies, so he takes Hofstadler by the bullet hole in his face and tortures him to reveal where it is. Hofstadler chuckles at Strickland as he passes away and adds, "No names. There are none. They merely clean." Following that, Strickland visits Zelda's house to question both her and her husband Brewster, Martin Roach. He pulls off the 2 fingers that had not healed after being reattached from his hand as he becomes increasingly insane and hallucinatory. Brewster informs him that Elisa has the asset while Zelda remains silent. Zelda reprimands Brewster after Strickland departs before alerting Elisa by phone. Giles and she remove the asset before Strickland arrives. The note on Elisa's calendar letting him know she's taking the asset to the canal is visible when he breaks into her flat. The asset is brought to the canal by Elisa and Giles. The monster bids them farewell, but makes the sign to Elisa, "Me and you together forever." She answers that he needs to leave without her. After arriving, Strickland slaps Giles in the face and shoots the asset and Elisa. Strickland starts to go, believing he has just triumphed, when Giles hits him in the face. The asset recovers and treats its own wounds upon being shot. Before the asset slices Strickland's throat with its claws, Strickland declares the asset to be a deity after being impressed. Giles and Zelda, who have just arrived, watch as the asset drags Elisa into the river just as the police arrive. Elisa is kissed underwater by the asset, which revives her and gives her gills where there used to be scars on her neck using its mending abilities. As Giles' voice ends the movie, indicating that the 2 of them may now be together, the 2 embrace one another. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.